All right, have at it.
All right. Hello, welcome everybody. Thank you for coming out today. Thank you for the applause. That's nice.
Excited.
Yeah, all right. So I'm excited too. This is actually a topic that has been ingrained in me since close to birth. So we're going to be talking about being professional without breaking your budget. Another way to phrase this is operational efficiency. You know, what modern tools are out there now that you can use to kind of run your business a little bit cheaper without hurting the quality of the product or service that you're doing. So when I say I've been doing this for a while, this is me. This is me. I think I was about 13, 12 there. I'm helping my sister back up this glorious Jayco pop-up camper. Multiple times a year, our parents would like to take us traveling. We were homeschooled, so we had that opportunity. And we would take this thing and we would pop it up. And for all of you who have not had the illustrious joy of popping up a camper of this size, there's a process. And there's all the different things that you had to do. There's little stands down here just to make the foundation more stable. You had to pop out the sides so you had a place to sleep. There was water, there was electricity. And our family got to the point where we could do it in under 8 minutes. Everybody knew exactly what they needed to do. Everybody did it. And this was a huge point of pride for my dad. He actually got his degree in business operations. He helped to introduce just-in-time shipping to Sears back in the 70s. He then wrote a book about it and then taught for it for 20 years at DeVry University. So needless to say, it kind of rubbed off on me just a little bit. So who is this guy? Who's this guy in a suit talking to you up at the front? My name is HelloMattJames. I started with IT with that mindset in mind. I taught myself coding because there were a bunch of tasks that the network administrators needed to do, and a lot of them were pretty tedious. So I taught myself command line. We ended up streamlining a lot of operations at a Fortune 100 company. By the time I left, they were calculating savings in the millions of dollars. That felt pretty good. Johnson Controls was such a large company, I decided to go the complete opposite direction, shoot myself in the foot, and join a startup in downtown Atlanta. They did mobile device management, and they had a crazy amount of growth. I was brought on board to write a lot of their standard operating practices. Just the way that the startup worked, I ended up shifting responsibilities to their global SaaS administrator. When I was in that role, I helped to streamline those operations, and we must have been doing something right, because we sold to VMware for $1.54 billion.
Wow.
Felt good. Got totally burnt out. Working 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. I was on call, and when people from Australia call you the night before Thanksgiving, you're ready for a change. Shifted to marketing in 2014. It's been nice because you get a little bit more creative with things. I started freelancing a little bit the year after that, and then taxes came, and I wanted to keep a little bit more of my money, so I incorporated immediately following that. Upon incorporating and having my own business, I found this lovely group. I found the wonderful people at Green Melon Media, and I am happy to say that is my home right now. I am their operations manager. We build great websites. Yay. All right. So who can benefit from this talk? I'm just going to make sure that everybody's kind of in the right place. Maybe you're in different parts in your business. First of all, if you're a new business owner, you want to make sure that you're using the right tools. You want to make sure that you're not tripping out of the gate, that you're getting where the rest of your competition is as much advantage as you can get. If you're an experienced business owner, maybe you have some blinders on. Maybe you've been doing the same thing for 10 years. You know what? This works just fine. I'm just going to keep doing the thing that I'm going to be doing. Maybe you need to revamp things just a little bit. Maybe you're a business looking to scale up. Maybe you have the best problem in this industry. You have way too much demand for your product. That's a great thing, but you want to make sure that quality scales up with the demand that you have. Maybe you have the opposite problem. Maybe you're a business that has 12 months of bills and 10 months of pay. That is a possibility as well. So pretty much, this talk is for any small business owner. This is something that you can kind of keep in the back of your mind, that you can be thinking about. You don't want to drive yourself crazy with it, but it's nice to revisit it once every while. So why is this talk important? Because the pursuit of efficiency is the motivation for innovation. How often do you have something that's kind of annoying and you just want to fix it? And you want to take something, tweak it, make it better? That's innovation. The willingness to innovate is actually more important than innovation itself. So we look at these companies, we look at Google with their 10x way of thinking, we look at Amazon, Jeff Bezos, they constantly have the startup mentality. We see them as innovative, we see them as successful. But just because they innovate does not necessarily mean they're successful. There's a lot of companies out there, they're trying to innovate all day long, but they're just spinning their gears. They're not actually getting a lot of traction. It's because it's just the willingness. Cornerstone actually pulled together, kind of half-proved this theory. Cornerstone had an online survey where you could go and you could figure out what your ideal job is. People took the survey and then they got placed in their ideal job. Because Cornerstone had the analytics for how they were doing at work and what they were using to take this online survey, they noticed something. They noticed everybody who used a non-standard browser. So if you're on Chrome, if you're on Opera, if you're on Firefox, you're part of this group. Anybody who used, welcome. Anybody who used a non-standard browser stayed at their job for 15% longer, on average, and they were also more successful at their job. So Cornerstone was like, why is this? Maybe it's a plugin that they're using. Maybe they're faster. What is it that we don't know? And what they were finding is that it's the people. The people did not take what they were given for granted. They went out, they looked for something better, and they found it. So good innovators actually take time to gather information before taking the next step. So let's go over the different parts of the business. This is how I broke it down for mine. Financial, this is why we're in business. It's the lifeblood of business. Legal, a lot of small businesses don't put a lot of precedence actually on legal or security, but we're going to go into why that should be part of your starting block. Communications, how are you talking to people, communicating, hosting, this is a website. Task management, this you can get into a bunch of different tools that you can use to make your job easier. I just have 2 listed here. Learning, this is how you stay prevalent, this is how you keep updated, and then ad hoc. If you're a video editor, you're going to want to know video editing tools. If you're a writer, you're going to want to know what tools are good for online, checking your spelling, proofreading, and stuff like that. We're not going to go into those. We're going to keep it pretty basic. We got a couple of pretty good tools that I think everybody here will benefit from. So let's jump right into it. Financial. So the restrictions for getting into Navy Federal Credit Union might be less than you think. If you have family members that are in any one of these branches of service, number 1, thank you very much. And please pass on that thanks. But number 2, you might have a sponsor and not know it. I like them for a couple of different reasons. One, they're 100% free business checking. You don't have hidden fees. You don't have to keep a minimum amount in your account. It is totally free. I also like the fact that they're pretty tech savvy. Credit unions generally aren't. They kind of lean a lot into the community feel. But the fact that I have an app and I can do mobile deposit and things like that is great. They do typically have lower fees and rates than normal banks. So if you're banking with Bank of America or Wells Fargo or one of them, it might behoove you just to look at credit unions, see what they offer. Respected name is also good. If I'm signing a check for somebody, if I have to change hands for something like that, it's nice that it's not Online Bank 504 logo. It's Navy Federal. It's a respected name. Professionalism is shared there. And excellent customer service. Whenever I've had to use them, I can tell that they're on my side, and that's really important to me. Web apps. A lot of people here might use FreshBooks. A lot of people here might use QuickBooks. I use Wave apps. I started with them because they were an all-in-one solution and they were 100% free. That made me a little bit nervous because I didn't know how they were making money, but it turns out it's because when you pay or when you send your invoice, they get the 3% transaction. You can pay for slightly upgraded service. That just means that you get better response time with their support tickets. I've been using them for 2.5 years. I think I have only submitted 1, maybe 2 support tickets. So they're rock solid. I do enjoy them. And if you're a small business, chances are all of your income is not going back into your business. You have to find a way to balance your personal and your business expenses. And this is they make it super easy to do that. You can connect your bank accounts, you can connect your credit cards, all that. And then when you're looking at your finances once a week, once a month, whenever you check in on them, you just say, this was personal, this was business, goes into this category. You can even have journal entries for all the things in there. Your accountant will love you if you do that. Speaking of accountants, you can get special access to them. It's not, hey, here's my login. It's, all right, here's your login. It's view-only access. Tell me where I need help. So that was a cool feature that they have. They also have mobile app for receipts. This is kind of becoming standard, but it's nice for a free product to offer that for free as well. When you take a picture of your receipt, it scans all of it, fills in all the information, and you just confirm it. It's great. Legal. Hopefully everybody has seen this webpage. Has anybody not seen the Secretary of State webpage to re-register their business? Okay, I'll take that as a yes. So this is just mandatory. Some people do it through the mail still. Online is much easier. They have one-click renewal. I think it's more like 2 clicks, but you get the idea. It's pretty easy. Plus, if I ever need to find anything business-related for the state of Georgia on here, all the documents are online. I don't have to go searching through a filing cabinet or anything like that. And it's mandatory. This is the best way to do it, hands down. The second side of legal, if you're just starting off, chances are you're going to be going through people that you trust. Chances are you're going to be going through friends and family, and then you're going to have friends of family, and the trust network kind of keeps everybody in check. But hopefully for your business, you're going to be doing business with people you don't know. You're going to be doing business with people that found you on the internet. And this will differentiate you from a professional standpoint pretty quick. You can do instant drafts and signs. So let's say that you're just chatting with someone and they said, oh, I'd love to talk to you, but we really need like a non-disclosure agreement. Cool. Take out your cell phone, hit non-disclosure agreement. They already have one pre-canned. Say this and this person on this date, done. Sign, sends it to both, sends it online to your storage. Don't have to worry about it. You can do statement of work, non-disclosure, bill of sale. You can do napkin contracts where you just write a little bit more information. If you pay a little bit extra, you can completely customize it, and they give you your own lawyer that you can pester, and you can call up, and you can ask questions, and you can consult. And that's great. For $40 a month, it is a great scalable option for you. Now we're going to jump to communications. I had a clear winner, a clear personal favorite, but the mobile phone market is ridiculous right now. Everybody's getting super competitive. T-Mobile, Sprint family, this stuff is cheap, and it's going to keep getting cheaper. So find bundles with the utility that you already have. We have AT&T. We already have fiber. You can get a phone for very cheap, and you don't have a lot of the data caps that some of the cheaper ones might have on you. If you don't have one and you're looking for one to consider, Project Fi. I'm always curious, show of hands, has anybody heard of Project Fi before? All right, so we got part of the room. For those of you who don't know, this is the Google version of Verizon. This is their online carrier, or this is their mobile carrier. It's $20 a month. You get unlimited texting, unlimited voice calls. You can do that over Wi-Fi. You can do it internationally, and we can get to that. It's $10 per gigabyte of data. And it is the best international plan you can possibly find. I have searched, and just shy of getting your own SIM card in the place where you're going, this is fantastic. I traveled to Germany. I traveled to France. I traveled all over Europe. And whenever I needed to use my data, it was exactly 10 gigabytes of data. I didn't have to call home. I didn't have to have like a one-day pass that was an extra $10, and then I could use it. It was the exact same cost no matter where I was. GSM and CDMA. I'm going to nerd out for just a second because this is kind of a differentiator for them. How many of you have had the scenario where you look down at your cell phone, it's like, oh, I got to text this person real quick. I don't have any service. All right. And then you do this whole thing. and you're walking around. If you have Project Fi, you get both of the major types of bands that are covering the United States. GSM is an older type of network, but it's the global standard that allows them the international coverage. CDMA, that's the one that Verizon and Sprint use. It's a newer standard. Some would say a little bit more bandwidth, a little bit more possibility there. Whenever you don't have service in one, you flick it and you're on service on the other one. You always have coverage. I was never without coverage when I had this cell phone. It was great. I'm so sad it got stolen. But there's no tool that can prevent that. So, moving on. Again, Google Communications, Google Voice. This is a call forwarding service. I don't know how much experience you guys have had with a call forwarding service or if you've used them before, but they are fantastic, especially because you're going to be networking, you're going to be talking to people, that number is going to be going out to God knows where. And so just to have a little bit of a buffer is nice. How this works is you get a different phone number. You choose your own phone number again. Once you have that phone number, you forward it to your actual cell phone, okay? But once it's going through that, once it goes through the Google Voice channel, you can have it do custom voicemail routing. Maybe you have a customer that's not getting the hint that you stop taking calls after 5. You can route just theirs to say, hey, we really appreciate you calling. We work from 8 to 5, and we'll get back to you the next day. You can also you can put them in different groups. Maybe you white label under another service. That's also super handy. Call screening is nice because if you don't know the number, if it's not in your cell phone, they will actually ask for you to announce their name, or they will ask the person to announce their name first, and then they will try to find you. This pretty much eliminates double dialers and all those types of phone solicitation calls. When I got them, mine went to nil overnight. It was great. Also, recording. If you hit number 4, your phone call just starts being recorded at that point. And in the wonderful state of Georgia, you only need one party to accept that. So, little business information for you guys. You can also manage all this from your computer. I have started texting from my computer and I can't go back. I just can't. It is a wonderful thing. There's other services that provide it. The fact that it's built into Google Voice is amazing. So, jumping on to hosting. I love SiteGround. If you are a web shop, if you're building websites, if you're referring people to build websites, get one with an affiliate program. SiteGround is just a personal preference of mine. The reason that they're a preference is because when I found them, the study that I found had 20, 30 different web hosts, and they tracked how much latency increased depending on the current traffic that was going on that website. So if you have 1 or 2 people hitting your website, latency is pretty low. But if you have 50, how does that grow? SiteGround stayed very consistent and very low. They're also not absorbed by EIG. Mickey Mellon actually helped bring this point to fact. I had HostGator before, and they just fell out of graces with me. Everything just seemed to be going wrong. Turned out because EIG picked them up, and they completely screwed up their efficiency, which just hurts. It just hurts me. So you can actually Google and take a look to see what other companies EIG own, and you can see if you're on that list or not. Personal preference. Testing and staging, if you have their highest end, it is super nice if you have a website in production. You can make a copy of it, put it in development, make all the little changes that you want to make, and then when you get it the way that you want, put it back up to production, seamless. Love it. They have great support staff. I don't think I've spent longer than 14 minutes on a support chat. I don't think I've even used the call feature because the chat is so handy. They do have SSDs, cPanel, WordPress one-click install, all the bells and whistles. Check them out if you're looking for one. Also, hosting. Namecheap. SiteGround also is a domain registrar, but the key to a great long-term relationship with your domain registrar is the renewal cost. Yeah. Because once you start getting a whole bunch of websites, that renewal cost starts hitting you. They have 88-cent domains, which is great, but then the renewal cost year after year is typically lower than the other ones that I found. They also have discounts. There's an app that I use that didn't make it on the list. It's called Honey. You just have it installed on your web browser, and whenever I go to renew any of mine, I can usually find an extra 10 or 15% off or some kind of deal that's going on.
That works with like everything, any kind of shopping.
Yeah, any
That
type of
little honey
shopping.
thing will pop up.
Honey's awesome.
Right.
What's the renewal fee normally for a .com?
For a .com, for me, I want to say it's 20. And then .co is actually like 25 or 30.
20 a year?
20 a year.
$20?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, no, it is 20, I
I
think.
pay 8 at GoDaddy.
Yeah.
8 at Go. Well, let me update my list here real quick. Everybody just like close your eyes real quick.
I mean, I pay.
Sometimes up to 15.
Do you have like a bulk rate or
I
something
have
with
a
them?
bulk rate, yeah.
Okay.
But even then, it's only 10 or 12, though. It's not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not
I paid
20.
21.
I've never
I
paid
paid
20.
Well, then maybe it's the .co that I'm thinking of.
The other one,
Yeah,
the .co's
can
and stuff can get more.
fluctuate.
Yeah.
.co can be
Yeah.
stupid expensive.
I have I mean, I know like my .nets, those are $8. I mean, I can get them for cheaper than
So
that.
that could be what it is. Then. If it's
Yeah.
.co, that is trickier.
Yeah, I think I have like 5 .coms. Anyway,
I could
check them out.
recommend GoDaddy sometime if you.
if you
I've never
have
done this before.
no, well, okay, yeah, do it. If you have a
Namecheap is $10.69 a year for renewal of a .com.
1069 on Namecheap,
Yeah.
Okay.
there you go.
That's right in
That's a
line.
good price.
Yeah.
Cool,
That's
that's a
fine,
good
yeah.
price. So then I was thinking of .co.
There you go.
Okay.
All right. Well, if you have a referral link or something for GoDaddy, post it on the Meetup.
I don't.
Okay, never mind. All right. So, well, all that being said, here is a question for GoDaddy. Do they have an affiliate program? Do they have a referral program? He's already talking to somebody else. That's fine. One of the reasons that I like the
They do, but they're
Namecheap,
weird.
they're weird about it? Okay. The affiliate program for here works pretty well. So if you're having to build websites, this is pretty much a no-brainer. This can be a cost or a revenue generator for you, which is great. Easy to navigate, 24/7 support, live chat. Check them out.
How long have you had that service?
I think I switched from domain.org like 2.5 years ago. Domain was who I started with. And then I was able to kind of, whenever I was helping people, I could navigate GoDaddy or some other ones. But yeah, I've had them for about 2.5 years now.
I have a quick question.
Shoot.
You mentioned the affiliate programs you've been hosting.
Mhm.
When you think of a base package, what do you suggest as far as like space that you should host for?
So when you're suggesting for a client or for yourself?
For a client.
For a client? If the client is small and they just want a web presence, get the small shared access. It's going to be super cheap, especially for the first year. That's typically going to be your best bet. If they want to have multiple websites, that's the next step up, and that's usually the reason that you go for the next one. No problem. Wait, did I skip one? Hosting. All right, security. Oh, this is fun. Okay, so how many people have heard about the Experian breach? Yeah. So now all of our passwords and social security, this is great. Okay, so Dashlane is what I use for security. I do love them. Password management, just period, should be something in your toolkit. It should not be something that you overlook, because how I used to do passwords was you either had the same one or you had like a genre. You had like, this is my finance login, this is my social login, this is my email login. And that's great, but whenever you have a breach, those passwords get sent out on the dark web. And there's a wonderful Reply All podcast that talks about why that's kind of scary. What a password manager allows you to do is have nonsense for a password. It's just a string of letters and characters. And then whenever you have a breach in that location, you hit a button and it automatically resets to another string of characters. So it makes it super hard. The fact that I can auto-update unique passwords, it just has a dashboard. And so I can just go in there and say, update my Facebook one, update my Amazon. I don't have to go through and do like the whole forgotten password feature, change your password. That's a huge time saver. You can input your digital wallet and secure notes and everything like that, so it automatically fills out all the forms that you're on the internet super fast. Okay, well that's great. My web browser does that. Dashlane does it a little bit different. Dashlane, if you pay, I think it's like $5 a month for their expanded service, you get the ability to connect all of your devices. So it's free for a single device. If you want to have it on your cell phone, your business laptop, your at-home PC, and have everything synchronized, pay a little bit extra money. Their hash database with 256-bit encryption, it means if they get a breach, if they get hacked, the hackers are going to go, yes, we got all this information. Why is it gobbledygook? Because I have the hash key with my password. They have to know my specific password for that database to even make sense. That's what Dashlane stores. They send it to my computer whenever I need it. My passphrase unlocks it. Then the database makes sense. That's the reason that I went with Dashlane.
Do you prefer that to LastPass?
Yes. Yes.
What's the main difference, do you think?
It's because LastPass is, I thought that was for one device as well. Can you upgrade with
No,
that?
you can
Yeah, it can sync across
I've got
devices.
it
yeah.
sync it, I've got it on all.
Yeah.
Weren't they
Well-
breached though, like a couple years ago?
Dashlane? Not from
No,
LastPass.
Oh,
LastPass
LastPass.
was, yeah.
That may be the issue. I have used LastPass a little bit, but it didn't impress me as much as Dashlane. If anything, for this last little bullet point, we have had some deaths in the family, and it is injury to insult when you have to go through and try to guess people's passwords so you can get access to the bank account, so you can get everything wrapped up that you need to. Dashlane has an in case of death. I have identified my wife and her email address, and I have said she gets access to all my passwords. I can even say she gets access to just these passwords. But if she contacts them, they wait a amount of time that I define. I can say a month, I can say a week, I can say 3 days. And if that time goes by, she gets access to all my passwords. Don't have to worry about it. So I don't know if LastPass does that, but that was kind of the kicker for me.
Tell me about the auto update. Does that actually go out to Facebook and change your password
Yep.
on Facebook?
Yep.
That's something LastPass doesn't do that I'm aware of.
It is every time you log into LastPass, there's a dashboard. I don't know if I should put it up there right now because I don't know if I have passwords in plain text right now. But just take my word for it. It has a dashboard, and it'll say, here's your security score. Here's how many passwords are reused. And then you can have a list of all the ones that they're able to automatically do. They don't do it for every single one
Okay.
because they use API transfers for
Right.
a lot of that.
Okay. Cool.
What's up?
There's a LastPass family
Mhm.
where you can share information within your family.
Cool.
So the case of death wouldn't really be an issue with
Cool.
the
Right.
immediate family.
Right.
All right. Well then, yeah,
Well,
check
you
out.
can also share individual passwords with anybody you want
Was
to.
that different
Yeah.
users? They use that.
And
Yeah,
you
shared,
can-
shared folders.
Yeah, you can
Dashlane
share
does that
it
as well.
without telling them what the password is, or
Yep.
letting them see what the password is.
Yep, they just released Dashlane Business. So all of this to say, get a password manager of your choice. And also make sure that your computer doesn't fall asleep, because that's... There we go. Okay, we're back. So yes, definitely get a password manager, LastPass or Dashlane. I prefer Dashlane. All right, second part of security. It might be kind of weird having a PO box on security, but let me explain. You have to have an address for two parts of your business at minimum. You have to have it for your registered agent, which is part of your articles of incorporation and things like that. You also need it for your domain registration. If you're registering a lot of domains, or if you don't have a bunch of domains, maybe it's just like 2 or 3 or 4, you can pay the $2 to have it hidden for you. The domain privacy is something that a lot of registrars offer. But if you have 30, 35, $2 each, it's pretty much a wash. Get a PO box. Now, USPS has very recently started doing street addressing and informed mail delivery. And I actually didn't know this the last time I gave this talk. So I went through the process to get that set up on my account, and it works 100% half the time. So it is not the most reliable, which kind of brings me to the next point. No. Well, I guess we don't have to read the entire thing verbatim. But what you can see from this chat is that USPS doesn't even know what to do. If you talk to their corporate headquarters and I say, hey, I need you to do this thing, I need you to activate this thing for me, they say, oh, you need to talk to the postmaster. Go to the actual local store. And it's okay, hey, postmaster, they told me to talk to you. And they said, no, only corporate can do that. And they are just both pointing fingers at each other. So save the Excedrin and the migraines. Look at the alternative if that is something that you would like to have in your security toolbox. They have pretty much the exact same offerings. They are about 3 times more in price, which stinks, but actual customer service. A lot of times you can go in there and you can get your problem solved immediately, which saves time, and that's huge. So here's the fun stuff. So task management. If you're starting off, you might be using sticky notes. You might be relying on your own brain. You might be just hoping that your memory doesn't fail, taking ginkgo biloba as often as you can. Task management with Asana is fantastic. You start off for free. If you pay a little bit of extra money, you get dashboards, which is great. The team at Green Melon turned me on to this, and I have fallen in love. It is wonderful because you can do templates. That's a handy little time saver. If you have a product or a service, at some point you have a rhythm, you have an operation, you know all the things that need to go into it, you don't want to forget certain steps, you put that into a template, and then whenever you have to do that again, boom, done, that's the next project. You can manage a bunch of different projects in tandem. You can manage a bunch of different clients' projects. It integrates with a bunch of services. If you use Zapier or IFT, we found something recently called Instagant. So all of this stuff is visible in a Gantt chart style. It's great. It's fantastic. And they keep adding more and more integration as day goes on. I also like the fact that you can collaborate with other small business owners. You can collaborate with other clients. You can give them visibility into your tasks. Sometimes that's something that a lot of people like to offer. Asana is great. The other fact is they have a webinar, they have a training program, and I cannot understate this enough. It is great to have a tool, but a tool is no good if you don't know how to use it. And if you have a webinar where you spend an hour and then you're able to use it to 80% efficiency, that's a huge deal. So that's something to consider with the platform as well. Shoot.
Oh my gosh. I didn't take my ginkgo biloba this morning. Oh, what was the last? You said you guys just found some Gantt chart?
Instagant.
Instagant. Okay.
Check them out.
Cool.
I think it's just like instagant.com, or it might be like .app or something like that.
Okay.
But if you Google it, it's first response. All one word. What's up?
I don't know if this is too early of a comment, because I don't know if I'm gonna go over this. Asana is really cool, obviously.
Hmm?
I find that Asana is good like for analytical people, but if you're like a visual learner like me, Trello is another great free task manager.
So yes,
I personally love it, but I just want to throw it
yeah,
out there.
no, totally. That at the end we're going to have a discussion like that. So you guys are right on board. This is exactly what I want to hear. Something that you might be interested in. Asana has a Trello layout because they kind of have like the sticky notes where you can put it into different lanes.
They do.
That kind of thing. You flick a button and you can put it Trello style.
I know with Trello, you can set your emails and set them as different tasks. Can you do the same thing with the free version of this? Or is it with
Yes,
okay.
I want to say so because there is a feature where if you send a certain email to asana.com, it'll automatically put it in the project. I haven't played around with it too much, but I know
That is a free feature, though.
it is a free feature.
Okay.
Free feature. So yeah, you can email yourself tasks, which is great. Or give that to your client to email tasks,
Or
which may be good or bad.
We used Trello and Asana for a little bit.
Okay.
Each, and then we went to something completely different.
And I don't think you give it to your clients, though,
Trello.
No.
I don't remember.
for Asana. The
We-
email in Asana is based on what email address it comes from, so you'd have to configure every client possibility to make it work. Because you
Sure.
don't have to spend, everyone emails to the same address. It's like x.@mail.asana.com. It says, oh, it's from Mickey Green Mellon, therefore it's this team.
Oh, okay. Then I'm thinking I use a one for my personal. TickTick is one that I use for my personal task list,
Gotcha.
and it handles it, but a little bit
Yeah,
differently. as
Asana
well.
doesn't handle for clients, but it does for you. You can forward stuff into it.
Okay.
We don't much, but you can.
Yeah. Good to know. Check them out. Calendly. Ho, 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 ho. So, whenever you're planning to have a meeting, the conversation usually goes something like this. Oh, I believe we should have a meeting, good sir, or ma'am. Yes, I believe that as well. Does Tuesday work for you? No, Tuesday does not work for me. How does Wednesday look? Well, I can move Wednesday if the kids aren't coming home, and then save all the time and send a link. Then the conversation becomes, I believe we should meet. I concur. Here's the link. Thank you. And then you meet, and it is great, and it is fantastic. So you streamline a 15-minute conversation into a 3-minute conversation. It's free if you just have a single type of meeting. So this is great for inbound. You know, maybe you like to meet in person for the first time, new clients. So you can do 100% free for the single type. If you pay them a little bit of money, you can get a bunch of different types that you can set up. It is mobile responsive, which is important. You can have multiple calendars connected. So if I have a personal calendar and my wife's calendar and a business calendar, I can connect all of them, and it makes sure that it doesn't double book me. Email reminders. Once the things are confirmed, your people and you will get an email that says, hey, remember that thing you got to go do? You need to go do it sooner. It also has two-way sync. I like the fact that I don't have to go into Calendly to check my schedule. I already check Google. So it automatically updates with Google. If I remove something on Google, if I delete it from there, automatically updates Calendly, everything.
And it'll put it in your iCal or your Google Calendar.
It's great.
Slick.
Is it color coded? Like, can you?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, color-coded, when you're identifying, if you have multiple different types of meetings, you can color-code those meetings.
Okay, cool.
When it makes an appointment on your calendar, you tell it what calendar you want it to use,
Okay.
and then it's whatever color that calendar is in Google.
Okay.
Yeah, it's either, you can get the free, or you can go to $8 a month and it gives you all kinds of goodies.
Yep. Oh, the goodies are fun. The goodies are fun. We love the goodies. Isn't that right? Oh, yeah. So check them out. Learning is the last section. This is what keeps you current. This is Feedly, which my man Mickey is going to be talking about at the next talk. Yes. So he'll get into a little bit more depth in here. I'll cover it briefly for anybody who has not seen it or knows of it. It is 100% free. You can also pay a little bit extra and get some additional benefits. It's available on desktop and mobile. So if you're just that type of person that likes to sit down with their cup of coffee, their notepad, look to see what the state of the world's at, that's great. Maybe you're somebody that just likes to check 3 minutes here when you're in line at Starbucks, 5 minutes at a red light, however you want to do it. You can mark it for read later. You can get a really good idea of what's going on in all your different areas because you can organize the news into different categories. You can say, this is all my tech news, this is my world news, this is my political news, and this is my cat's news. And you can just go into all those different sections and you can have it set up however you want. With a little bit of extra money, you can also add filters and keywords and mutes, and that is a whole lot of fun too. So if let's say you check a couple of different news sources for WordPress, but you just want to get like more of a from the state of the world. You can say any article that has WordPress in it and update in it, but not this update version put in my Feedly feed. That's pretty cool. You can even have your own name or your business name as something that comes across in filters and keywords. That's a great idea. Bless you, sir. It also integrates with IFT and Zapier. If you are not a fan of social media, you can actually set this up to do social media for you. Wouldn't necessarily suggest it, but it is possible. Last but not least. All right, how many here have not seen this? No one. All right, cool.
You.
There we go. So Meetup, it really is the best way for you to find your community. I love this over other social media sites because Facebook is still kind of like, this is me, and these are the things that I like. Meetup keeps the thing that you like as the focus. You can either search by area or by your interest, which is super important. It has personal and professional benefit. Tonight, my wife and I are actually going to a wine tasting through Meetup. How cool is that? And it really does have the adage come true. If you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far, go with others. So find your community on Meetup. Get plugged in. This is also part of the learning, making sure that your skills are sharp. Threw a lot of stuff at you guys. A whole lot of apps. All right, is everybody good? Everybody good? All right. So, how do you know if you need to change something? This whole talk is about operations. This whole talk is about improving your efficiency. That's why you're here. Something clicked off in your mind and said, ooh, maybe I should revisit that. Where do I start? I have a lot of notes now. Start inward, move outward. Start with your pain points. Identify what makes it that you don't want to get out of bed in the morning. What is that first thought? Okay? What's the thing that you look forward to the least monthly with your bills or with meeting with clients or anything like that? Identify those pain points. And then search like you're starting over. SEO, SEM, all that fun stuff. Google is made to try to give you the best answers possible, and that field is constantly changing. So if you don't know, Google like you don't know. A lot of times, if you're a specialist in the field, you already know the ways that you want to get the information that you think that you need. Throw that out the window for a little bit. Just try it. Get feedback from clients that you've already done business with. This is the perfect time. 6 months after having a client interaction is the perfect time to meet up with them, because you can ask kind of the possibly negative feedback that you really need. If you immediately follow up with a client, you finish their project, and you say, hey, so how'd I do? They're going to be like, oh, great. It's great. It's fantastic. I don't want you to screw with my website. I just got it. But once you have that time where they're able to kind of be autonomous apart from each other and you check in, you can ask questions like, hey, did I respond to email quickly enough to you? What was your biggest pain point working with me? And you will get a much more honest answer from a prior client after that time has elapsed. Also, talk about your process with other people, just like what we're doing today. Hearing about Trello, hearing about GoDaddy, this is what it's all about. So I'm going to give you a little bit of math though. All right. So shop rate is something that might be new to new people. Shop rate is how much money do I need to make to cover expenses, to be profitable, with the amount of hours that I want to work. You know, hey, I'm okay working 60 hours. I only want to work 30 hours. Okay, that comes into play. Figure out your shop rate, and that is your hourly rate. And that's going to come into play with these two sections. So operating cost and operational efficiency, which is what we're talking about today, are similar but a little bit different. Operating cost, how much is my day-to-day costs? All right, it's just administration in business. How much does that take? And you can drive that down to zero, but it might take you hours longer to do the same task. Efficiency is that line. Efficiency is how can I offer the most for the services at the level of quality that I want. Okay, cost versus quality. And I'll let you in on a secret. Efficiency, output over input. Any engineers in his house? There we go. All right, so output over input times 1,000% is usually something that is used there. But we can use that in business, and I'll show you how. Meetings. Guys like the hand puppet thing? All right. We're going to do it the typical way. So let's say a meeting is, all right, average shop rate we found out a couple of days ago is typically $125 an hour for small to medium-sized business in Georgia. So this is the average shop rate. If you have 12 meetings every month and a 10% close rate, $500 average per close, that's how much money you typically get for the job that you do. And if it takes 15 minutes to schedule, you just put all that information into the formula and you get a number. So this is a 1.6 efficiency rate. Okay. Change it up a little bit. Now let's use Calendly. Now instead of 15 minutes, we're at 3 minutes. And we spend $8 a month for Calendly. Okay? But now all of our meetings, we can go through there. Plug in those numbers. And if I did my math right, get a 7.2. It's a 450% improvement. It's more efficient. I can prove it because it's math. Okay?
And numbers never lie.
Shoot.
There was a 0.5 up there and a 0.25 on the other one.
Right. So
What were those?
0.5 is going to be. Wait. I had it. 12 meetings every month. Let me bring it back up. Previous slide. That's
Yeah,
right.
there's
That'll
a
be helpful.
0.5, and then there was a 0.25 there on the other
Right.
side.
So this is 12 meetings, 10% close rate,
Uh-huh.
and it takes you and you get $500 per meeting that you have.
Uh-huh.
12 meetings. 0.5 is how many hours in a minute?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 0.05. And then 125 plus $8.
Okay.
That's how that works. Thank you for catching me on that. Had a little heart palpitation. All right. So then let's see. That's Calendly, improvement, honorable mentions. These were just some of the ones that I liked, but I'm not going to go into. Mixmax is for email, Buffer is for social media, Avid is for if you're a video editor, Brainscape is for keeping things relevant in your mind. It's kind of a flashcard thing. Grammarly for writing, Typeform for getting feedback in more of a human nature way. 10 to 8 is a lot like Calendly, it's just a little bit different. Push Bullet puts all of your notifications that are on your cell phone on your computer. Honey, save money, code anywhere, it says it in the name. And Wavebox, which is something that Mickey has turned me on to as well. And Allie?
Yeah, I ditched it.
Okay.
She'll be back there.
But she tried it. So that is there. Thank you all very much for listening. This is my contact information.